What's up guys, this is Josh from Cage Dynamics and Hooligan Off-Road. Here to introduce our A-pillar for the Razor cages. This is a cage that one of my employees was in while I was having some fun on the weekend. 30-mile-an-hour crash. You can see that this cage is demolished. Failed in several areas. Here at the B-pillar, here in between the stance that's unsupported, and most importantly, this was the point of contact. Completely splayed the cage and trapped the occupant right there against the seat. So this is something that we really don't want to have happen in the future. If you look at any race car on the planet, they will have an additional A-pillar here, like this one does. And this adds an incredible amount of strength. We cut these using state-of-the-art equipment here called the Dragon. The Ventec ensures that all your parts and your coats will come exact every time. So our kit comes with a pair of each of these parts. This is our chassis bracket that we have developed, patent pending. This goes and connects into 2 points in the existing cage. These two go in the chassis, and these two go where the door strike goes. You get a pair, one for driver, one for passenger. You get the long portion of the tube with a cope that should be really close on most cages. And then this is the upper piece that will go above this tube clamp, in which after you add this in, actually makes the tube stronger than it was originally. This allows it to be removable, so you can access the dash if you have to remove it to add components or to do work on anything behind the dashboard. It also comes with the hardware for here and the bung. This is how it looks in our jig here. This A-pillar goes to the apex of this bend, creating an enormous amount of strength. The other thing that we do, and we will make an option for you to purchase when you get these kits, is our B-pillar gusset. You saw how on the other cage it completely failed and buckled here. This gives you a lot of additional strength for a very minimal amount of welding. Start the installation video of our amazing A-pillars. These have already been installed. We're going to go back in time and show you step by step how to get these in here. Should take you and a buddy about 2 hours, give or take, to fab, weld, and install these into your Razor. One of the first things you're going to want to do is get rid of your seats, get those out of the way, gain access to the battery, because you are going to be doing welding on the machine while this is in position. So you'll need to gain access to the battery and disconnect it for the duration of this installation. And let's get into it. One of the things we recommend while you're installing these before final installation, just get some tape up the plastics, that way less chance of scratching them up as you install the bracket. And then once you have it all welded up, you can take them off and you'll know how it goes in at that point. Alright, so we highly recommend to drill out the bracket that the lower part of the Cage Dynamics chassis bracket goes to. They are kind of hidden behind this fender here. So one of the things you'll have to do is remove these two Torx. They are different. One has a coarse thread that goes into the plastic, and then this one is a fine thread that goes into one of Polaris' bungs. So once you have that loose, that gains you access to, one more. So this gives you access to this little jam right in here. There's a bracket, hard to see. Give me some light there, Camo. There we go, there's that bracket. It has two factory threaded little jams for small little metric bolts. You're gonna drill them out and use a grade 8 3/8 bolt that are provided with the kit. So there you go.
Also,
yeah, you'll have to remove.
Recommend once you get those removed, before you start drilling the holes.
Get it aligned, because there is some clay in that tube, so get it aligned using an alignment tool or one of the other bolts. Screw it in there, drill one, take it out, put the 3/8 bolt in the other. You just want to make sure that it's lined up, make easier drilling. And you might want to remove that if you ask Cam there.
Oh, that should feel great.
You should take that out before it contacts your head. And then, yeah, so you got the alignment tool, drill.
I recommend sanding this edge so that you can slide it in between the brackets on the inside of the vehicle. It makes it a lot easier. Also, we recommend as well prepping this front edge where the tube is going to meet your plate. Again, don't have to, but that's what we recommend doing. So, give it a quick sand. So there you go, there's that. And we're going to come to the front edge.
Don't mind these hooligan shirts. It's just the
I
parent
know.
company for Cage Dynamics, you know?
It's our manufacturing company.
That's how it works. Hooligan Off-Road will manufacture your parts, quality stuff
filming
with.
right now?
Yeah, I'm filming right now. Back to these little jammers. When you get them, we're too lazy to prep them, and it's a DIY kit, so you're gonna have to do it. So you take your sander, your flap wheel, your,
You're gonna need the
you know, whatever you need. Flap wheel or a sander is probably your best bet.
preferably a sander.
Yeah. So what he's doing there is putting a bevel on this piece,
So you should have a
because
nice
when
edge.
you meet it up to these bungs, you want to have a nice big weld surface so it's good and strong. So as you can see there, once you have that bevel on both sides, the bungs already come with that machined in, but it's a really great idea to do that to the tube and gives you a nice fat V to fill with your welds.
My hair look good?
Yeah, your hair looks perfect. Yeah, this is fine.
Yeah, we're good, we're happy.
That's
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
All right. So, now that you got your pieces all prepped up and ready to rock and or roll, mind you, everyone's cage will be different. So, this is kind of the preliminary fitting. Let's see where we're at, situation. You're gonna put your whole little situation together. You're gonna hold it up right about there. Get the coat fitting in there. Sometimes you'll have to twist a little bit.
So
There you go.
now it's, you see that it's low on the bracket.
Low.
The idea is to kind of get towards the middle of the bracket. So we do this on purpose so you can fit it to any cage. So now we recommend to leave the top piece alone and just cut off a nice straight cut with a bandsaw or a cutoff wheel. But that way you're just getting a nice straight cut and you're shortening this, which should in turn slowly move that up the piece to where you want it to land. We're going to start by cutting a 1/2 inch off and see how that affects where it sits. You can always cut more. We found it very hard to cut less. Alright, so now we have trimmed the longer of the two pieces down by a 1/2 inch, and Cam has re-beveled the end that meets the bung. So we have a nice, beautiful weld surfaces on both sides to fill those up. Now, one of the things you'll notice right off the bat is now that piece looks pretty centered of that plate. And that's pretty much what you're going for. Not critical, but you know, somewhere in the middle there. Leave yourself enough room to weld on the edges.
You also want the bung, the bottom piece is connected to this one.
Yes,
You
correct.
want this tooth facing forward so that if you were to ever need to take this out, you can pull it back and this will come out. If you have it the other way around, it's not going to be
very. All right, so at this point, you got everything prepped. You're ready to tack at least half of it in place. Okay, so at this point, definitely helps to have a second pair of hands. You're gonna wanna get this situated in both regards to the bottom cope, here flat, and then you have to make sure you got this bung twisted enough to be able to get a tool in from here, and make sure, again, that the lower half of this joint is able to go backwards. Very, very important. Lined up. Now, the only thing that you can really tack currently before you get this piece welded in, you're gonna tack up here and attach the lower part of this joint, and you're gonna tack down here, at least 2 tacks. Keep in mind that you do have the plastics right behind the 1/8 inch bracket, so you know, get a good setting on your welder and don't hang out too long. You're gonna wanna tack this 2 places, or actually 3 places. And that way that doesn't allow the joint to move when you weld it. So, 2. And a 3rd one. And now you'll be able to take this whole joint apart.
It should all be sitting there by itself pretty happily too.
Yeah, now what we'll do is we'll take this joint apart. We'll take the bolts out from the outer part here, pull this whole bracket, do the finish welding on this bracket, let it cool, and put it back in, and then we will define this. In case you get any deflection from this piece while you weld it, which does happen, that way you'll be able to adjust this piece after the fact. All right, so we have welded the bottom part and the bottom part of this bung here. So now we have to get this positioned in place, get it tacked in place, and then this is going to be finish welded in the vehicle, and that's how it works. In position, get your weld on. All right, so at this point, we've got the piece in, we've got the bolts back in for the door latch. Everything is where it's going to live. You have the pieces you got the bolts in the bottom?
Not yet.
But is it all lined up?
I have the alignment tool in there right now.
Okay, so yeah.
With the side bolts.
So alignment tool in there. Now you're just going to want to make sure that this, you know, get it nice and fit. In the smallest gaps. And tack it in place. Now this one, again, good idea to just get 3 tacks in the bung. Now, once this is all tacked in, go ahead and finish weld it and move on to the other side.
And then you just want to throw down some freshies.
And then do it upside down. All right, well, we got the finished product here. This is a regular Cageworks Baja spec cage, and we have added our chassis brackets and A-pillar, and now we have an incredibly strong cage compared to a cage without these. And you can install this on any cage that you have already. Fully removable if you have to take the dash out. So there you have it. Installs in any cage.